Hey, good morning and welcome back to D-Loney V8 Motorsports. It's Tuesday, it's engine day. We're not drinking beer yet, but we are going to use this cardboard. We're going to mask off this block and we're going to lay down some black engine paint in this thing. So that's kind of the first step, get this thing painted, and then we start putting the pieces in it. So it's going to be good. Forgive the getup. This is my 1989 Billabong ski hat. I tried skiing twice. It didn't, snow skiing, it didn't go well. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll take you through this thing. It's gonna be a bunch of time lapse. Time lapse is good because, you know, you can listen to music, you can use bad language, you don't have to worry about what goes in, and it hides, you know, flaws in your skills. So we do a lot of time lapse. It works. Thanks for watching. All right, well, here's what I'm using. VHT engine enamel, gloss black. It's a color I like. Had the some of the cardboard fall down just as I finished spraying here. Anyway, it turned out okay. No complaints, no big runs. I think I got the right areas masked off that needed to be masked off, so probably need to do a little bit of razor blading for the head gaskets, so we'll get everything ready to bolt on there. We'll kind of mock it up and make sure I clear the gasket surfaces that need to be cleared. I even painted the back of it, so looking pretty good. On to the next thing. I thought I'd share really quick, between the heater and that halogen lamp, which is pretty bright, this thing's roughly 60 degrees, so it's good enough for paint. It's gonna be fine. All right, well, I guess let's see how we did. Yeah, looks all right so far. A little bit of maybe some lacquer thinner on a couple spots there. A little lacquer thinner, razor blade, something. Anyway, it's gonna look great when we get those beautiful dark aluminum heads slapped on here. So yeah, I like the black. On a car like this, you know, it's not a classic rebuild. I mean, I love the color of Chevy orange, but on a race car, you know, not on a stalker, I'm going with black. Anyway, so far so good. Let's get this thing put together. All right, we got it flipped over and it looks like we kept the spray paint off of the important parts. So all good. Next, I'm gonna lay in the ARP main studs and the bearings, and then the crank will hop in there. Hop. All right, well, we're making progress. We got the crankshaft in there. We got the bearings and the bearing spacers in there. We got the main caps torqued. Followed the instructions, 3 phases, and then you torque to 80 pounds. The crank turns nice and smooth. So I'm using this Torco MPZ assembly lube that was on the shelf here, so why not use it? But yeah, so far so good. No drama. Everything's looking good. I had to phone a friend on the rear main seal. Thanks, Scott Davis. Gave me some coaching on that to make sure I seal it right and it doesn't leak. It's gonna leak anyway, probably, Chevy. Anyway, so far so good. Probably try to get rods and pistons next. I'm not sure if I'm gonna tackle that tonight. We'll see. I'm trying to take it real slow and real careful. For no good reason at all, I had to set the pan on there just to see how it looked. That's what hot rodders do. You know, they like to get the vision. All right, well, it's day 2 of engine assembly. Let me show you what I got going on here. So do have the crank installed, you guys saw that. I rotated the thing up so that the number 1 cylinder, which is this one, the deck is horizontal. So it's time to install the pistons. So I got everything laid out and in order of how they go in the block. Got the bearings for half of them. And so 1, 3, 5, and 7 will go in first. I got the trusty ARP installing tool, and actually something I was a little bewildered by. I've never used one of these before. It has this little tiny lip on the bottom. You can see that. For some reason, I thought that would lock into the bore, but it does not. Fortunately, Roy Paola from the machine shop gave me a call this morning. He wanted to make sure I had the right rear main seal. So that shows you right there what kind of service this guy provides. So he thought of it the next morning. He just wanted to make sure I had the right one, and I did. Anyway, and the crank's already installed. So, but no, I had him on the line, so I was able to ask him a couple questions, and that was one. Of course, he's used these many times, and he said it doesn't slip into the bore. You just put it nice and square under the bore and then sink the piston in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I will show you guys how things turned out. I need to line up the rings, need to oil the pistons as they go in. I need to oil the bore. Obviously the bearings will get assembly lube using this stuff. Had it for 100 years. And yeah, wish me luck. I hope it goes in there good. All right, well, we have got a 4-cylinder so far. Got 4 of them in. Everything went pretty smooth. Again, a lot of support. Phone a friend. My buddy George Burns this morning I bugged just to check some things. And actually Roy, when I talked to him about the ring alignment, and of course I referenced on the YouTubes as well to get the piston rings clocked properly. But yeah, showing off a little bit here, short little ratchet. This thing turns over nice and smooth. Yep, I'm not that strong. So yeah, it works good. Everything feels good. Guy Mitchell, feels good, it is good. Anyway, you line up, just talk about the process a little bit. Line everything up, slide it in the hole. Make sure the rod, the writing is on the rod cap in the right side. And so I even had to just double check the pistons, the way the cylinder heads hit the top of those pistons. You want the relief on the proper side, of course. There's no top and bottom marked. It's kind of obvious on these for Small Block Chevy. Talking a little bit about, again, the process and some coaching from my buddy George Burns. So once the rings are lined up, I put the rod bearings in, and that was another thing. They're really hard to see, and I don't have any out here because they're in the motor, but upper and lower, there's a tiny little U and a tiny little L on the bottom of the rod bearing, and or I guess on the inside, whatever you want to call it, the side that's not touching the crank, obviously. But these are used rod bearings. These are the ones that were in the motor. They look great. And anyway, you put the U in the upper half and the L in the lower half, obviously. And so got that sorted out, got the piston rings aligned, put a little bit of this stuff on each of the bearing surfaces, and get the thing over here and basically slap the ARP piston installer on top of the block. You guys can tell how confident I am, right? Anyway, carefully slide things down in there, and then I use the butt of that hammer just to lightly tap it down in the hole. You have the crank throw at the bottom and centered, and so you kind of guide the rod with one hand and you tap it with the other hand. Goes right in there. There's probably a million videos showing people how to do this, and they don't want to learn from me, trust me. Anyway, it is noon, so we got this done before noon. Halfway done. I'm going to do the other half after lunch, and 8 pistons in this thing, and I'm going to call it a victory today. All right, well, hot rodding. I'm going to attempt to show you guys what's happening here, but put in 1, 3, 5, and 7, went well. Motor turns over like butter with 1, 3, 5, and 7 installed. I put number 2 in and thought I'd rotate the thing over. I wasn't even going to rotate it all the way. I was just trying to get the journal where I needed it to put in number 4, and the thing stopped on me. And so I've been really gentle with it, so I don't think it's caused any harm whatsoever. But let's see if I can show you what's what here. Way up in there, production quality. There is, hang on. Good thing I can edit this out. So I'll show you. When things come around, it stops right there. Yep, pretty positive stop, and it's really hard to see, but looks like the rod is just kissing the edge of the cylinder at the bottom, and so that's going to need to be addressed. And so that means everything's going to come out of here, and probably some grinding on it. And I should probably be smart and install the other ones one at a time and see if they need some attention too, to try to be thorough. So anyway, amateurs, what are you going to say? Amateurs, dude. Anyway, thanks for watching. I thought that was fitting for this situation. Call the police, we got a problem with the block. Well, call the police, we got an assembly. We got an assembly situation. Just kidding. Don't call the police. All right, well, I was really having a hard time finding out where this thing was contacting. So, ordinary piece of paper here. I'll try to show you this. So number 1 rod, number 2 rod. So that's the one we installed that's causing all this drama. Anyway, lightly rotate it around till it stops, and you cannot pull that paper out. So it's touching. Number 2 rod is touching at the very bottom of the number 1 cylinder. And so when I look down the row, everything looks pretty similar. This is a stock GM block, and so looks like it needs to be clearanced. I bet you the other 3 cylinders on this side are going to have the same issue. So I'll probably mock up at least 1 or maybe 2 more rods just to confirm that, and then this thing's coming back apart. Hot rodding. Just for fun, I thought I would show, as best I can, how tight that clearance is. So this is the number 2 cylinder, and this one doesn't touch, but look at how tight it is. So that's the number 1 rod coming around. I mean, that's tight clearance-wise. And I think that's probably fine. That's just how they are. But it just goes to show you, the other cylinder, at least one of the other cylinders, the casting is just a little bit lower on that spot. And there you have it. It hits. And so anyway, gonna make a few phone calls, phone a friend, figure out what to do next. Build a rowdy small block. Rowdy small block. It'll be really cool. Stick shift.